So in the video, I'm going to be breaking down this guy's 1 mil plus a month funnel. Literally no one knows this guy, but he's been printing on the back end like crazy. He's probably behind a bunch of the different coaches, which, cool. So basically he gets traffic, he generates interested leads, and then he converts those leads. So he followed a pretty simple process, okay? He does the know, like, trust, like every other coach, okay? But it's very, very different how he goes about it, okay? And it's very, very unique to him, okay? But you can definitely launch a bunch of different stuff, which you can definitely implement into your funnel and absolutely copy him to make sure you're printing a bit closer to this amount, okay? So first thing first, he gets some traffic, okay, cool. He doesn't actually have an Instagram. There's a very specific reason he doesn't have an Instagram, and that's because of his ICP. His ICP just aren't on Instagram, to be honest. They are on Instagram, just that's not where he wants to sell them, okay? He's got Twitter, he's got YouTube. Those are his two main mechanisms of actually getting traffic, okay? He's got two different accounts, okay? He's got a faithless account and he's got his account which has actually got a faith on it, okay? And with his Twitter, all he does basically is that he just drops a bunch of value. I also want to mention the fact that his way of going about it is very literal, okay? So if you see the whole you don't need to track your calories thing is BS, okay? You don't need to track my ad spend, blah, 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 etc., okay? But he does, okay? He makes it very, very raw and authentic, okay, cool. He's trying to target a very specific type of person, okay? He's not really going for the snowflakes, I guess you can say, okay? Then he's got a YouTube, okay, about 28.4k subs. So not even that many, but he still prints like crazy. And this is a content strategy, okay? A content strategy, all it is, bunch of case studies, a bunch of document breakdowns, just showing him he knows what he's talking about, a bunch of lead magnets, more case studies. I really want to drill the fact that he uses a lot of case studies because it's very important, and he actually uses Alex Hormozi's offer to do so, and I'll explain how in a second, okay? And all his content is bottom of funnel, okay? Some could be arguably middle of funnel, okay? But there's definitely no top of funnel. What I mean by top of funnel, I mean there's definitely no videos here which are sort of flexing his lifestyle, trying to get traffic, and then trying to nurture people, okay? And it's very simple why he doesn't help beginners, okay? If you see here from 70 to 500k a month, he started off at 70. He doesn't help just any random Joe, okay? And it's very important exactly why he does that, okay? So how did he actually generate interested leads, okay? Two main parts of video YouTube, okay? Social proof and bottom of funnel. Like I said, he does a bunch of case studies, okay? 3 out of his 8 last videos have been case studied, okay? On Twitter as well, he's doing a challenge funnel, okay? And all he's doing is pushing out a bunch of social proof, okay? Social proof, social proof, social proof. Especially in today's economy where there's a trust recession, social proof is all that matters, okay? They don't need to see the flashy lifestyle. They just need to see enough of these guys go on a video and say, oh yeah, this guy helped me. See enough threat screenshots and be like, you know what, Daniel? I'm going to give you my money, okay? That's all he needs to do, okay? 3 out of 8 are case studies, like I said, okay? Cool. So bottom of funnel, okay? All of his videos are bottom of funnel, okay? Now, there's a specific reason for this. He probably filled out ICP document, okay? Something like this, okay? Something that we give our own partners, okay? And then he made ICP only content, okay? He now had a clear picture of exactly who he's targeting. And he's realized that he isn't focusing on people who need convincing. And the reason for that is because people are already convinced about the business model. He doesn't need them to be convinced that the business model they're doing is the one for them. They've already started making money from it. Otherwise, he just won't accept them. And I'll show you how in a second, okay? He just needs to convince them he's the right person to help them scale their current business, okay? So, bottom of funnel. All he does convince people that he's the one to teach them the business model, and he just showcases the level of expertise, okay? That's all he does. Okay, Twitter, lead magnets. He loves the lead magnets, and a very specific reason for that. He asks for your email, and then he also asks for your phone and then your name, okay? Cool. And then here we go. This is the challenge funnel. He's just sort of explaining exactly what you get out of it. Okay. And also giving a bunch of urgency and scarcity by saying check out closer. Okay. Cool. And then that's his bio. He links client attention. He links this kit, and he links his one-on-one calls and his YouTube. Okay. But I'll show you exactly why he does that in a second. Okay. So download the document from this video here. Okay. Lead magnet. Cool. Also another lead magnet, work with me one-on-one directly, okay? So both of them are lead magnets, okay? Both of them got to click on it, and then they collect their details, okay? Okay, cool. All right, collect the details, and then what did he do with those details? He does the emails, okay? He does the email every single day, as you can see here, okay? Emails are a very prime factor for why he had even had this much success, okay? And the reason for that is, once again, he knows his ICP. He knows his ICP are busy agency owners who are on email 24/7 waiting for emails to come in, okay? He knows that, so he uses that to his advantage, Okay, and then he does a bunch of different sort of subject lines, which I'm not going to go all into, but urgency, okay, biohacks, okay, my thoughts on clients. It's just sort of controversial, like what's he saying? Is he going to cuss them out? Just sort of curiosity based, okay, and then also helping out people directly, so sort of calling people out, okay. And he also uses previews to his advantage. I want to mention that actually. The single biggest reason I see most people failing to get clients is that they, and then what else? We don't know. Okay, cool. So that's his emails. Okay, now on to the actual important part, conversion. Okay, how did he actually convert the leads? Once again, emails, and then at the end of the emails, he's got a bunch of different CTAs, but this is one of the CTAs. It's the case study video, okay, which puts them into here, which is Olympia, which is the actual really, really high ticket, and then boost deliverability, because he says reply. Okay, reply back. This is a double-edged sword. What I mean by that is that he's actually able to get market research. So any questions people say, they'll be like, oh, you know what, I can do a YouTube video, or I can do an email on this. Just give them content ideas, basically. And then you also boost deliverability, because what ends up happening is that the email providers are just like, oh, okay, cool, this guy's email is getting a lot of engagement. That must mean he's not a spammer. He's not a scammer. Let's push out the emails more. Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Really quickly, we talked about what he does with the email. What did he actually do with the phone? So on the phone, he connects, qualifies, and sets. Very simple process, okay? He connects with them, just says, hey, name, so you opted into whatever they opted into, and then he qualifies them. He says, are you currently running an agency? Gap, what's your goal in the next 90 days? So this is all on a phone call, so he gets his sets to dial them. He gets his sets to dial them very quickly in 5 minutes, okay? Because it's very important that you do that. Because people are in a sort of state of mind when they opt into something, right? So if you're in a state of mind of, I don't know, searching for an answer for a certain question, okay, cool, when you bump into a video and then you go into a lead magnet and then they basically take your details and then they call you 5 minutes later, you're still in that sort of problem solving headspace. But if you call them an hour later, what might end up happening, the person you called might have completely forgotten about the problem they have, and it's going to be very difficult for you to sort of remind them why they even opted in for the first place. Okay, cool. So you establish a need, like what is even holding them back? Okay, it's very important. Okay, and then you ask, would you like some help with that? Ask for permission. You're not trying to just gag it down their throat. Cool. And then you present your offer. This is what I had in mind. I might be able to help you. Okay, and then obviously you book them onto the calendar, and you've got a bunch of different closes. Okay, cool. Let me go over the client ascension sales page first. Okay, it's very logical. That's literally all it is. We help agencies, B2B companies reach 10 to 30K a month for client acquisition systems. You don't do a time period, you don't do any of that, but there's a very specific reason for that. Okay. It also says schedule a call and get pricing. Once again, his buyers are very sophisticated. What I mean by that is that the ICP isn't any beginner. His ICP is already making money. His ICP knows how the game goes. His ICP knows how sales pages are. He knows that they're going to get pitched on the call price. So he's just going to give them the price up front just to scare some people off. But the people who get scared off were never ready to buy anyways, okay? So he understands that it's very logical. He's not trying to emotionally sell these people, okay? Especially since they are very sophisticated buyers. They're already making money. They're trying to improve their business, okay? They're not trying to go for some long shot or anything like that. They're going for logical systems, logical thinking, okay, cool? Then a bunch of social proof, that's it. Just a bunch of social proof, okay? Cool. And despite him not following Alex Hormozi's offer in the headline, which is there, okay, it's very important to notice that he actually follows his offer, Alex Hormozi's offer, in every other way possible. What I mean by that is that the dream outcome is 33K a month, 50K a month, 30K a month, 42K a month, and he does this all in case studies, okay? That's the dream outcome. The perceived likelihood of achievement is very high. Why? Because there's so many case studies. Why not? Why, if you were to sign up with a client ascension, why would you not be the one who succeeds with it, okay? Then you get time delay. He literally puts the time delay in every single one. 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, 45 days, 6 months, 5 months, okay? He puts the time delay in there, okay? This is his offer. His offer is in the case studies. The effort and sacrifice, okay? He also, in these videos, he explains exactly how much work they had to do and stuff like that. He asked them those sort of questions. He explained exactly how much done for you is in the program. He's trying to get people to watch these case studies and understand that they're there for them. They're going to do a bunch of stuff for them, okay? He actually, his all 4 of these boxes are ticked, okay? Despite not being ticked in the headline, they're ticked here and they're ticked in the VSL. In the VSL, he does a bunch more case studies, the really, really big hitters, and they go through the processes, go through spreadsheets like this, shows the behind the community, shows everybody exactly what is going on, exactly what they're going to get, okay, because you're selling to logical buyers. You're not selling to people who need to be emotionally sold, okay? He understands that, okay? Then this is Olympia. It's very important that we notice that he has 2 different programs, okay? Cool. And then Olympia, how we spend $6,000 a day on ads. This is very out of reach for a bunch of people. This is a very, very high ticket offer, but it actually plays in very well to client attention. I'll show you exactly why in a second, okay? Then once again, a bunch more logic, document breakdowns, a bunch more logic, okay? Only for people above 25K a month in revenue, okay? He's not looking for beginners once again. Cool. Then they're pushed to a type form like this. What type of business are you running? You know, they just need to know what are your monthly business and revenue. Obviously, if they're 0 to 4K, they're going to get kicked out of the Olympia, okay? But they could get pushed to client attention. So this is where the downsells, the upsells, the cross sells all take place. How many client customers are you currently working with? 0. They don't help anybody who's working with 0, whether it be client attention or Olympia. Okay, very important. Are you willing and able to invest into the success of your company? Yes or no? Very important question, just to sort of get a confirmation, confirmation bias, that's what it's called in psychology. Something else that's very important to notice is that he actually doesn't reject anybody. Okay, the no flow, I did every option, and there's no flow which kicks you off the type form automatically. So even if you said 0, you don't get kicked off. He still lets you fill out like normal, okay? And that's literally because he's just trying to collect your data basically, okay? So what's your full name? Obviously you need that. What's your social media links? This is going to be very useful when you hop on a sales call, make it more tailored to them. What's the best email to reach you? Well, obviously that's very obvious why I need that. And the number, and then schedule a time on his Calendly. Okay, cool. So with the number, let me quickly show you what you actually does with the number. Okay, so every lead is actually reached out to via setters. If they're qualified, the call is confirmed. If they're unqualified, they're shown to the free resources, pushed back to his YouTube, just going to nurture them more. Obviously, if they're not qualified for Olympia, they might be qualified for client ascension, so he's downselling them and stuff like that. He might also downsell them to ListKit, which is a SaaS, software as a service, which I'll also talk about in a second. It's very, very important how he actually displays all his products, and I'll show you exactly why in a second. But he's also got his pre-call flow: initial message, email, message, dialed, message, email, message, sales call, message. Yeah, you get the gist, okay? And he just give them a bunch of pre-call assets just to make sure that they show up, give them more commitment. He dialed them to make sure that they get the verbal commitment, which once again, confirmation bias makes them more likely to show up. This is all a bunch of different tactics to make show up increase, basically, okay? And throughout all the email, the messages, he's just giving them pre-call assets, letting them know that we get so much success, like sort of just letting them know, like, we know what we're doing, okay? Sales call, no show, obviously followed up with not closed. They're further nurtured. Just straight back book into the emails, into the daily emails. If they're closed, obviously you print cash money. Okay. Sales call flow. How did that actually work? You build rapport. Okay, so you get to know them a little bit. Obviously, try not to act like a bot. Despite them being logical buyers, they're not like, you know, they don't buy from anyone random. Cool. So fact finding as well. You need to understand their business a bit better. Then they go straight to the logical, sort of break down the logical. What you'll actually find as well, there won't be that many objections, especially with the amount of case studies they do. But if there are any objections, they'll do objection handling, of course. However, there won't be that many objections because also, once again, you need to understand the amount of social proof just sort of clears any objection they have in their head. Okay? And he cleared every objection. Pre-call, that's why they're called pre-call assets, okay? Just to sort of make sure that the close rate is actually really high, okay? Close, onboarding. Onboarding process needs to be bougie. If it's not bougie within, like, if they don't get a bougie experience and they feel like, oh yeah, I really did buy something worth my time in the first about 10 minutes, they're gonna, the sort of chargeback rates go through the roof, okay? So closing, and no show rate, something actually really funny. You can improve both of these doing the same thing. The most important thing I would say is pre-call assets. Pre-call assets and dialing them before the call will increase both of these stats tremendously. Cool. And obviously they track everything at the end of the day. You need to track your KPIs to make sure you're actually hitting the correct KPIs to make sure no leads are falling through the cracks. Okay. Cool. And the last little part, this is where he actually generates most of his money, to be honest. Okay. Client ascension. Okay, here, this is his, I guess you could say, his entry-level product. It goes straight to Olympia. Ascension, straight ascension. These guys help you get from 0 to 25K a month, but not directly 0, more like 5 to 25K a month, okay? And then they go straight to Olympia. They get pushed straight onto Olympia, okay? It's a very, very easy ascension to do, especially since you just got them from 0 to 25K a month. Why the hell would you not let them help you get from 25 to 100K a month, okay? So it's very easy sort of ascension, okay? Sort of funny, it's in the name, client ascension, but yeah. Very sort of easy ascension funnel, okay, there. And then they also do an MRR model, which is ListKit, Okay, let's get their SaaS, like I said, and basically all it does is it's great lead for them, and then it also helps them send out the emails. They help with a cold email campaign and a bunch of jazz. Okay, cool. And then they're immediately subscribed to this, because obviously you need this for this, you need this for this. Okay, it's very smart the way he did his entire product stack. Okay, obviously he's got about 4 founders, but yeah, cool. And then he also does one-on-one consulting calls with himself, about 1 hour. I'm pretty sure it's about 1.5 grand. Okay, but yeah, his product stack is actually where he prints most of the money. It's very important that you take that into account. Okay, but yeah, if you are interested in implementing a sort of similar funnel into your business, okay, and implement all these processes and infrastructures that this guy has in his business, then just click the link in the description. Okay, cool. And then find the time, and then we'll talk it up and see if this could actually work for your business. Okay, cool. Other than that, peace.